Hello everyone, it's Noel from Noel's Nook, and I'm back again with day 3 of my Inktober entries. The official Inktober prompt for today was poison, and Ellen Torrey's prompt was banshee. So in my preliminary sketches I had a banshee force-feeding somebody else poison, but after looking up some reference images I came across this hooded woman, and that's where my inspiration came from. During my planning period, my initial sketch on the good paper, I started off by flushing out the hooded woman, but I wasn't really sure where to go from there, so I gave her the wine glass as kind of a prop and to possibly represent the poison, but to also take up some space. But then the more I looked at the drawing, the more I realized there was still so much space to take up. So I decided that maybe I should have some sort of potion or smoke or something coming out of the wine glass, and actually that's where the snake came in. The hardest part of trying to sketch this out was actually trying to get the proportion of her hand correct. The first time I drew it, it was actually kind of small, so I erased it, redid it, and I really like it now. I actually used a picture of myself as reference. And I also needed a good reference for snake scales because I really wanted the snake to look a bit realistic. And actually the snake was really fun to draw. I had a lot of fun doing him. And giving the sorceress snake eyes was actually not something I had planned. I just kind of did it for fun. But I really liked how it turned out, so I actually kept it. Some really hardcore rule keepers might not appreciate this, but I actually did do the inking last night just to give the ink a chance to adhere to the paper before I started erasing this morning, but also because I didn't want the layers of marker to start coming up. I did not want bleeding. I really wanted this to go well. And I'm not ashamed that I did that. I'm actually really happy that it was something that I got done and it was out of the way. It was just like the very little bit of, inking that I could possibly do. The rest of it was done today. Another thing that I wanted to play around with was the line width and, the thickness or thinness of the line depending on your subject. And I looked at a couple of different Inktobers that other people had posted just to give myself a little bit of a reference on how other people have been doing their inking. And a lot of the times that I saw this, they were making lines thicker where there would be shadows. So on the left hand side of the snake, our right hand side, I made that thicker, or on the sorceress I made that side thicker. So I tried some things like that, and I really liked the effect. I also tried to incorporate the very skinniest of my pens, and I tried to use that a little bit more because I noticed that you can get some really nice fine details with the thinner pens. And that's something I'm going to have to try to work on a lot more, is get used to having a lighter hand with my pens, because I do believe when I first got my Sakura Pigmas, I actually bent one of the nibs because I don't know if it's because I get nervous and I start using a heavier hand or what I was doing, but I noticed that I need to kind of lighten up on my wrist action whenever I am inking things. To prepare for today's drawing, I looked up a ton of references for how to crosshatch. So I tried to incorporate that into this drawing because it's something that I never really done to this extent. I did try it on day 1 with the mermaid, but don't look at that video. I'm so proud of this one. I don't even know how I'm gonna top this the rest of Inktober. I feel like the most stress that I came across was trying to figure out what colors I wanted to use. I actually paused the video a couple of times during filming just because I wasn't sure where to go after I had inked most of it. So I ended up going and using green for the potion and the snake, because whenever I think of green, I think of, poison. I feel like they go hand in hand. And then, of course, a lot of snakes are green, so I felt like, that's a pretty good happy medium, so I did go from there. After the snake was done, it was time to figure out what color I wanted to use for the sorceress. And I thought about doing her robe black, but last night I did come to a decision while I was trying to go to bed that the background was going to be pretty stylized and it was going to be mostly black, and I knew that I wanted to use the cross hatching again. And one of my references for the hooded woman was this woman was wearing a red robe, so that's actually where the inspiration came from that. If I was to go ahead and redo this whole thing, say like a year from now or something, I would love to see more wrinkles in the robe. That gave me a lot of stress. I really kind of had to like walk around and just clear my head, because wrinkles are not something that I'm comfortable doing, and I really didn't want to screw this drawing up. I wanted to make it good, so I kept the wrinkling to a minimum. She looks kind of flat, but I'm not upset that she looks flat. Also, I would love to incorporate lots of like lighter colors in her robe too, like lighter reds to like help define like a light source. But I was just comfortable trying to use the darker reds. I am pretty happy that I did that, even though, you know, she looks a little flat, but I don't really care. Also, I would love to play with the lighting a bit more. I was thinking that to give her a more sinister look, I think like a bottom, like a lit from the bottom sort of view, like giving her a sunken look would also be really interesting to play with. This drawing is really special to me, guys. I sketched this, you know, last night, and I was just so proud of it. I love it so much, because I really wanted to redeem myself for the last 2 days, because I know I can do so much better with my work if I just really take my time and try. And I love where this went. I really do, and I hope you guys do too. It seems we have come to the end of the video. But yeah, so tomorrow is Inktober. We'll have to see what we come up with tomorrow, shall we? I hope you guys stick around. I give you my fondest wishes, and I hope you have an awesome day. And I'll see you tomorrow.